said the words, "It's not fair"? I know I have. All of us have. Maybe it was getting in trouble for something that you didn't do, or maybe it's seeing injustice in the world and saying, that's not fair, that shouldn't happen to those people. We see it almost every day, sadly, in the news. And so it's good for us to take a stand and stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves, but ultimately our hope cannot be in us solving these world problems. Our hope is in Jesus, that he already solved this problem on the cross and that ultimately he will solve it in the next life, that he is the ultimate judge. So Jesus is greater than our justice. Let's find out why. Hebrews 10:26-31 says some pretty important stuff. I'm going to read it for you. Hebrews 10:26-31 says, "For if we go on sinning deliberately after receiving the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins, but a fearful expectation of judgment and a fury of fire that will consume the adversaries. Anyone who has set aside the law of Moses dies without mercy on the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. How much more punishment do you think will be deserved by the one who has trampled underfoot the Son of God and has profaned the blood of the covenant by which he was sacrificed and has outraged the Spirit of grace? For we know him who said, 'Vengeance is mine, I will repay.' And again, the Lord will judge his people." And then verse 31 says this, "It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God." Those are some intense words. So how is Jesus greater than our justice? Well, number one, we are all sinful. We all mess up. We cannot judge perfectly. Even the systems that we have set up can be corrupted. But God's justice is never corrupted. Even though it might seem like all of this injustice is happening around the world and God isn't doing anything, ultimately, God is the judge, and we will all stand before him one day to give account for our sins. It says right there in Hebrews chapter 10 that we choose sin over God even when we're in a relationship with him. We're still prone to do those bad things. But we need to trust that Jesus has greater joy for us than any of the sinful pleasures that we can pursue, that we trust him to be greater. But we also see that we need to fear and respect Jesus as the ultimate judge. And that's that last verse that we read, that it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Everyone will fall into the hands of God unless Jesus stands in their place. Every murderer, every abuser, anyone who does not call Jesus their Lord will fall into God's wrath. But God poured out his wrath on Jesus on the cross for those who believe in him. So when the world seems unjust, or when you seem like you're frustrated with your own injustice, remember that Jesus stands in your place, that all you have to do, put your faith and trust in him. He is greater than you trying to fix your life. He is greater than the world trying to fix the injustice in the world, that no one stands innocent before him unless Jesus stands in their place. He delivered you out of the wrath of God. So remember that his ways are perfect, even in a world where it seems like imperfection is everywhere. God's justice is better than our justice. Jesus is the judge, better than we ourselves as the judge. Jesus is better than our justice.